There aren't many times in modern movies where I feel that an actor completely disappears into their role. Daniel Day-Lewis and Christian Bale, they're two examples that readily come to mind when it comes to morphing into a character. Now, in the Netflix drama Maestro, Bradley Cooper does his best to become Leonard Bernstein. So, does he accomplish it? This fearless love story chronicles the complicated lifelong relationship between music legend Leonard Bernstein and Felicia Montealegre Cohn Bernstein. Bradley Cooper is once again behind the camera for a musically inspired drama, and this time he takes on conductor and composer Leonard Bernstein. Now, with what looks to be some prosthetics and some excellent makeup, visually, Cooper disappears, and I only saw the character. He also changed his vocal patterns and voice, making for an impressive performance. I mean, he had the voice down, complete with that nasally tone that Bernstein had. And while it sounds like he's got a cold most of the time, it is spot on to a lot of the interviews that I watched. Carey Mulligan portrays Felicia, who eventually becomes his wife. She is a scene stealer. Not for any large character moments, but in all of the small and nuanced ways that she brings her character to life. Elements of the story require her to be emotionally resolute, despite circumstances that just eat away at her confidence, self esteem, and even sanity. Now, the character is never a weeping flower, but Mulligan provides softness and warmth amidst indomitable tenacity. Now, this is presented in both black and white and color, depending on the era and the type of scenes that we're watching play out. Now, both look great, but what was really impressive were the shots in the more modern eras. These maintained a color palette and color grading that was more saturated, with the darker tones enhanced, just kind of giving it a look like a late 60s or early 70s type of filter that you'd use on Instagram. It was a stark contrast to the black and white, but it was still able to convey the appropriate time period and aesthetics. The costuming is also wonderful, transporting us through the decades of the couple's life together. Now, all throughout the film, as much as the performances and the visuals entranced me, I was having a very difficult time connecting with the characters. I always felt kind of at arm's length, despite seeing some very intimate conversations and discussions that take place behind closed doors. I was consistently trying to be invested in their stories, but more often than not, I just felt as if I were a distant observer, never invited in to experience the drama in a palpable way. Some of the time, the narrative felt more like vignettes in time that were all pieced together rather than being one big cohesive story. Now, some of that could be because of the span of years that this story covers. There's no way to engagingly chronicle every single moment of Bernstein's life, so this grabs the highlights along with quieter moments that may not have been as well known. But the choppiness of some of the storytelling kept me from becoming completely immersed and intertwined with the characters and the plot. But even with that said, some emotional scenes can be a bit heartbreaking or touching. Typically, though, I didn't feel the emotional ramifications of a sequence as I believe I was intended to be made to feel. One scene, though, that does come to mind, it was intensely powerful. I mean, it was energetic, enveloping, truly captivating. And this comes towards the end of the film as we watch Bernstein conduct an orchestra. The passion and fervor with which Cooper attacks this scene was just nothing short of awesome. I mean, he's fully into the character and the conducting. Now, I don't know how long he practiced this, but it felt like Cooper had melded with Bernstein to just allow the musical prowess to ooze from him. He's almost possessed in this scene. For me, it was one of the most powerful and memorable scenes of the entire movie. Also, during this sequence, we witness Mulligan giving a silent and devastating moment that just speaks volumes without words. And there are others in the cast that do exceptionally well in their performances, too. I mean, I still didn't connect with them on an emotional level, but that doesn't take away from their acting. I think it's a combination of the story itself and then the way that it all fits together. Sarah Silverman, Matt Bomer, and Maya Hawke, they are great to watch. I almost didn't even recognize Silverman because she is very grounded and reserved in her character, not fading into the background, but not dominating the scenes either. And honestly, I'm not always a fan of hers. In this, though, I thought she did a remarkable job. Now, if you're looking for a happy tale, this isn't really one of those. There's more melancholy and sadness than there is joy. We're presented with some happier moments and scenes that showcase vibrant love, but these are overwhelmingly tempered with some somber themes. We're presented with a seemingly enrapturing romance, but in reality, it's fragile and constantly in danger of being demolished. And this isn't necessarily a negative for the movie or the story, it's just a slice of a real person's life. But if you are hoping for something on the lighter side, you're going to want to keep searching. Now, for as much as I struggled to become engaged with the story, the performances and the visuals, they're still excellent. I don't think I'm ever going to watch this again, but that's more because of the sadness than the lack of connection. But it does also play a part. So overall, Maestro is a beautifully acted and visually wonderful film where Bradley Cooper disappears into his role and Carey Mulligan devastates with a raw and unyielding performance. While some scenes are gripping, the narrative as a whole fails to produce a meaningful connection with the subjects, leading to a presentation that lacks memorability. There's no sex or nudity, some profanity, not really any violence. I give Maestro 3 out of 5 couches. So, who's an actor that you enjoyed them just disappearing into their role? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this review, please give it a like. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe. I'm Chris. This is Movies and Munchies. Thanks for couching with me. I almost feel like I'm Harry Potter here.